Live stream.
Leave
Live
meeting.
stream.
I'm out.
I'm out.
No
I
one
think
told
those
me
are the
about
options. Do you consent or do you want to get the fuck out?
Right? So I
Those
should
are
say.
the
Options.
To be
I-
fair, that is often my choice in life.
Yeah.
I want 2 buttons labeled that consent. Get the fuck
Get the
out.
fuck out.
GTFO.
Just have to remember, always have that option.
Yeah.
I forget. start using
Peter
it.
made a sweet custom move. Is that right?
I made a
yeah.
custom move. I don't know if it's sweet or not. It's like
Isn't
from a
Peter
min-maxing perspective,
special?
it's not very useful. but
Oh, are
from a
you?
Excellent.
story
Perfect.
perspective, I think it'll be lots of fun.
I am
That's
excited
perfect.
about this move because it benefits me.
I'm gonna make a new move that's drink some absinthe. It's
That
It's like
is
from
a move that
from
I've
a
seen
gaming
you do before,
perspective,
I
I'm
think.
kind of like, why don't I just make all of these people my, thralls or whatever with my objects? But this just seems fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Is there a different word for wing?
Oh, I love the name too. That's
Coachman.
perfect.
Ooh.
Busybody. Nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's a good move.
I love it.
Well done.
So let's see.
I guess my custom move would be drink more absinthe without
that's just-
consequence.
That's just the thing that you do.
Yeah.
Just a hair of the dog.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Just what Tino Tap there.
On a 10 plus, you see beyond the veil, and the green fairy gives you a clue.
On a fail, you vomit yourself into such a blackout you're in the void realm.
Void vomit realm.
Void vomit.
There's just like
Speaking of
one
which.
plane where Gareth goes to vomit.
And it's just all vomit everywhere.
Ah,
gentleman's-
Gareth,
okay.
what is this?
I gotta
The
remember.
Gentleman's Social Auxiliary. That's great.
I can no longer
Yeah.
use old bones
Right.
currently because I gave up Cosmic Passage.
So we need
That's
to get
right.
you that cosmic passage back,
Right.
is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
I
that's what
have
I'm hearing. Single
also-
focus.
I also remember I've got that Ward of the Void. I need to remember that, which allows me to like just go to the void whenever I want or something like that.
That lets you defend against stuff coming from the void, or keep it. It's pretty ambiguous.
I thought
It's a condition.
I thought at some point I got something that allowed me to just like
Void Walker would be the thing. That lets
yeah,
you,
that sounds
I think
familiar.
because of the way that you came out of it, you got that instead, because that's cooler.
Oh right.
Did I just give myself more reason? What did I do?
Uh-oh.
Cool. So the Gentleman's Social Auxiliary custom move. Before a nearby hunter rolls with presence, you may offer assistance. To do this, mark one personal item and explain how you're using this item to join the conversation. Roll with presence on a 10 plus, your effort succeeds with no complications, and the other hunter may roll with advantage. On a 7 and 9, you succeed, but with a complication, perhaps a lie that you must maintain in future interactions. On a miss, the other hunter rolls with disadvantage, and you take the following condition. Busybody. I love it.
Yay.
Approved.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so good.
That's so good.
Cool, that means a lot to me, guys. I will go ahead and make that my custom move.
Make it so, number
Yeah.
one.
Write a custom move for your character.
Boom.
Oh, and it's prompting me to enter that there.
Oh wait, maybe instead of increasing, I will do the field medicine.
What does field medicine do?
So I can treat injuries.
When you treat someone's physical injuries during a night phase, roll with pressure. On a hit, they suffer no penalty from a condition.
Oh
for the
wait,
remainder of
there's
the
night work. Night work looks good. What's that? When I'm not engaged.
Oh,
Ooh,
Is my
field
night
medicine,
doing
you can get
house
body
calls?
parts. That's cool.
Oh.
I can get clues from night work. Does that mean I
Ooh,
don't?
night-
I'm not with y'all at night at all. That's probably for the best.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That
no.
means
I don't really tend to help during the night.
oh, this should be all caps.
And you can have Lloyd.
so
I'll,
you can-
I'll get Lloyd to you.
so you can
I'll
you
be
can
away.
you can choose on that one. So if you take night work, you can say I'm doing night work tonight. I'm not joining night phase, but you can also just do the night phase as normal if you want to.
There we
Okay.
go.
You're not automatically excluded.
All right, I'm gonna do
Working
field
all
medicine so
night work.
my girlfriends would stop dying. Really kind
Right.
of inconvenient.
I was distracted with tweaking my custom move until I heard that sentence.
Oh wait, I won't get the other. Whichever move I choose, I don't get the other one.
Yeah.
Oh well.
You must choose
Y'all are stuck with
wisely.
me. Just for story's sake, I don't really want to disappear for the night because I
Oh,
like
yeah.
to cause trouble.
Well,
Well,
you
the
can,
night,
you can
Get locked in
choose to do that
closets
or
all
not.
night long.
the
if
night
you-
is also
if you-
about to get a lot more interesting thanks to my beacon in the dark move that I took.
Yeah.
With the night, if you want to do the night move with the night turn, you still can. You can choose whether to do it or not.
Yeah.
So you're not stuck always being excluded from the if you don't want to. And what's the beacon in the dark?
Something
Walk the streets
happens
of London
at
at
night.
night.
Like a beacon in the dark.
Yeah.
Roll
My
with
consciousness spreads
sensitivity.
across the city like a vast spider web. I roll with sensitivity on a hit. I'm immediately confronted by a threat or a personified danger related to a threat, and I can ask them two
Nice.
questions from the list below, and they will answer directly, but
Directly.
in the
Oh.
form of a clue.
One of
And
them is
I-
always lying. One of them is always telling the
And,
truth.
and if I roll a 10 plus, then they depart as soon as
They
the
just fuck
questions
off.
are answered. Otherwise, there's probably
They just
some
stick
consequences.
around, and there's a
Nice.
key. Biscuits.
Otherwise, they become our new roommate.
New friend.
New friends, new friends.
So last time we wrapped up the ghost threat by throwing someone off a cliff. That's great.
Yay, it was awesome.
Wrapped them up and threw them off a cliff. Yes.
Wrapped them up and threw them off a
jeez.
cliff.
Everything
Yeah.
went exactly as planned.
Let's have a really chill day. I think
Yeah.
we deserve a break. Let's go back to the gardens or something.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well. So two things happen in the morning.
Da, da, da.
You get two pieces of news.
Uh-huh.
One is
Always lies.
Francis. Where are we at here? Francis, you get a your friend Thomas Simpson from Cremorne Gardens
Oh yeah.
knocks
Tomsy.
on the door. Tomsy knocks on the door of Hargrave House.
I'm sure nothing bad has happened at Cremorne
Looking
Gardens
for
since
you.
we completely ignored it for 2 days.
Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine.
And he's coming with his hat literally in his hands, and he looks
Oh.
very worried.
And I'm still ghoulish. Oh.
Oh, you're so ghoulish.
And after being invited in and
Yeah.
given the appropriate tea and cookies and whatnot,
Yeah.
he
This
asks you. He looks very worried, and he asks you kind of in a roundabout, the subtle way he can manage, which is not very, how the creature investigation is going.
We've almost wrapped it up.
Whoa, like a dissertation committee member.
Man.
So close to
Um,
wrapping it up. So close.
Yeah, that would be the sensible thing. I feel like Francis just guilelessly says, we haven't looked at it in a couple of days because there was this exciting business with dealing with a ghost. It was
Then Francis tells him in detail about the party that he went to.
oh god, yeah.
Tomsy, you would love this party. I'll have to take you next time.
Yeah, that is what happens. Yes, thank you for that
Yep.
suggestion.
We had to
As
throw
you're
this
doing
body off a cliff.
He
As you're
doesn't
doing
talk
that,
about the body at all.
he starts to
doesn't-
look increasingly worried, and
I know it
after,
was scary.
but after a long pause, a little bit too long, he looks back up at you and says, there's been another
He's dead.
attack.
God damn it.
There was a boy working at the gardens as a psychic medium, and he is a very independent boy. Was off by himself one evening after the gardens is closed, and we found him the next morning in a state of shock,
Oh, okay.
He's
That was far better
currently-
than I thought it was going to be.
resting in not a hospital, but like a local sanitarium, basically not like a cuckoo house, but a place where someone can rest. Tomsy
Sure,
put him
we'll
up
have
there,
Mhm.
and he had some. He did have some injuries, but he has been unable to talk about them since he's just.
But hey, at least his insides are still on the inside, which is more than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could have been so much worse. Okay.
After he gives that news, he just kind of like looks at you expectantly.
Oh yeah, I think at this point, if other players are okay with this, Francis is like setting the tea aside and saying, "Sir, we will devote all of our energies, Hargrave House, to tracking down this creature and seeing to it that it doesn't cause any more trouble." And
I'm not sure if it's a genuine creature from the sea or something ridiculous like that, or if it's a competitor trying to scare me away.
Oh, it's real.
No, it's real.
How could Paloma walk?
And Paloma says a scientific name. Yes, Diplodocus sapiens.
Could we do an information move to try and
Yeah.
get a clue about the creature from the attack? From what Tomsy knows about the attack?
Teeth marks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe I should do the information move.
Oh yeah, depending on whether it's presence or reason.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah,
how are you? Or what are you asking? I guess.
It's you.
Well, let's see.
Charm him.
Yeah, but I'm also ghoulish, so that may put me at a disadvantage. I think, yeah. So if Francis is going to try and do this with presence, I think it's going to be like Tomsy, dear friend. Obviously, we're going to put our energies towards making sure that you and yours are safe. But you have to do something for us. You have to summon up, enter the world of your memories, Tomsy, and tell us. I'm sure that this was different from a normal attack you might see on the streets of London. And what helps us the most are all the differences, everything that stands out, everything that puts a chill in the blood and tells you that this is not perhaps not even of this world.
Are you trying
into your mind palace?
Are you trying to hypnotize me?
Yeah.
I assure you, it's been tried several times and it has never worked. However, I'm happy to help you.
Let's hypnotize him then. If I can do that with presence.
Casually watch fob.
I have a watch, I think.
True. So do you want to just ask him or do you want to try to hypnotize him?
Well, now that he's mentioned hypnosis. Oh man. Yeah, now that he's mentioned hypnosis, I want to try hypnosis. My apologies if it goes very wrong.
What do you think might go wrong if the hypnosis goes awry?
Why did I do this?
No apology necessary. Dive deep.
If the hypnosis goes wrong, I think Hargrave House being so close to the veil between our world and the supernatural, it allows him to be for a time overtaken by one of the dark spirits that occupies the place.
Cool. Great.
You should loosen him up with a little bit of absinthe first. Relaxes people.
And since you are ghoulish, he is a little bit off-put, so I think this is going to be with disadvantage.
Yep. Okay.
But it's +3, so that's
so great. 3 lowest to +3.
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying my best, everybody.
I just love the thought of a normally charming Francis just being a little bit like a little bit disturbing. You're like, something about him is really putting me off today.
Yeah, like, I thought that was you, Paloma.
So that's 5 + 2 is, or +3 is 8.
That's 8. That is
could be worse.
Hits. Great. So
there is some consequence, and I get to decide whether to back down from it, I guess.
Yeah. So you do manage to put him under, which means you're going to get something out of him. I don't think you're just going to get a clue. You don't have to roll an extra information move.
Oh, okay.
And he is not possessed, but your actions do weaken the veil some, and you do see something dark hovering behind him. What does it look like?
Oh man. I think it looks like a smaller version of the creature that we glimpsed in the void.
Ooh.
Or maybe it's like several tiny versions of it that are all like reaching their tentacles out towards him.
Nice.
Mini Cthulhu's.
Mini
Cool.
Cthulhu's.
How do you feel about that?
Let's see. Yeah, I think the character feels bad about it, but I think Francis feels bad about it, but is kind of like he's torn, but I think ultimately he's like, I promised to take care of this, and that means taking risks to get these clues.
Cool. So I think the actual consequence is another condition, and that's going to be callous.
Callous thing. Okay. We got to have some intimate scenes soon.
Yeah, I was like, should we head to my little infirmary next?
Yeah.
Because I'm still not doing well.
Yeah, we're both ghoulish. You're pulled apart. I'm callous.
Pulled apart, right? Oh man. Let's see. Let's do. Oh yeah, let's do. Great. So he sort of his eyes roll back and he begins recounting every piece of the scene. He was not the one who found Greco, the boy, but nothing was touched before he did get there to make the decision to take him to the sanitarium. And he begins describing the scene in tremendous detail. The boy had his shirt ripped open. There was bruises in kind of like just not sucker marks, but like distinct patches on his chest and torso. And then up his neck and his the side of his face was all bruised as well. But the boy was just lying on his back with his eyes open, staring at the sky. And as he sort of begins to sort of spread out his focus and describes the stones on the walkway and the water, the sound of the water lapping not too far away, he describes a hedge that is nearby, and then kind of like starts describing the hedge in great detail until he comes to the ground, in which he says he sees there's something grayish, greenish, flat, triangular on the ground with a streak of red along one edge. And you realize before too long that he is describing a large dorsal fin that had been torn off and left on the ground. And after he sort of says that, he zooms in on the wound part where it was torn off, describing the ripping of the flesh and the blood and stuff, and he begins to snap out. The specter behind him lingers for a moment before fading away, and then he just looks into your eyes and says, "I told you, this never works on me."
Yeah.
I appreciate your help, but
perfectly reasonable. Well,
it does relax me, even when it doesn't work. Francis is quite relaxing.
Yeah, I think that's like, I hope it at least gave you a brief respite from
Paloma also is convinced it doesn't work, but it probably looks the same.
So thank you for putting my mind at rest. I trust in you, my dear friend, that you will do everything in your power, in your considerable power, to help me out with this time of.
Shall we see you at the gardens if we come by there? Absolutely.
I will not take my eye off the place from now on. I don't want another tragedy to happen. And as he walks out the front door,
tentacles.
Grab him.
He picks up the newspaper that is on your front stoop and hands it to you and says, "Here you go. Good day." It is the Daily Telegraph. He tips his hat to you and wanders back off with his walking stick to the gardens. The Daily Telegraph has a story that jumps out at you about a washerwoman named Clara Yarborough, who was found dead in the hallway of her tenement house in Whitechapel. Her face had been carefully removed. This is the third such crime this month. The other two victims, Edward Clive and Dolly Merriweather, also lived in Whitechapel. People are already saying it's old Sally No Face who's doing it, but Sally No Face is just a legend. Children have been singing her song in the streets for as long as anyone can remember. Poor old Sally, trapped in a fire, her looks burned up without a trace. If you're lovely, with fate most dire, she'll come and take your lovely face. I think probably.
Is that our new threat?
Paloma. That's your new threat, Sally No Face. Paloma, you have a history with Clara Yarborough, the washerwoman.
Oh,
What is it?
You've always wanted her face. No.
I'm sorry, my internet's having a little bit of trouble. I think I caught most of that.
You have a history with Clara Yarborough, the washerwoman?
Yeah.
What is
I
it?
do. Clara, and do we know where Clara is located? Or can I make that up?
She was living in Whitechapel in her tenement.
Whitechapel in a tenement. Okay, so she was what would be the sometimes Paloma likes to like dress up like dandyish, like a Marlene Dietrich, and has like another persona she puts on and like goes out on the town, and like it's completely secret from everyone, and Paloma is just trying it out. And this was it Clara, and Clara is the person who she is entrusted with taking care of these garments. And Paloma is now nervous and wants to get them back, but
oh yeah,
really is not sure how to tell people that those are her tuxedos.
Awesome. Oh great. Cool. So this comes with 3 questions, and they are kind of parallel this time. So the first question is, where is the killer hiding? Complexity 4. And that lets you resolve the threat by infiltrating the killer's lair, then capturing or destroying them. The second way you could resolve it is complexity 6. How is the killer choosing their victims? And then you resolve the threat by luring the killer to you, then capturing or destroying them. And the hardest one, complexity 8, is what is the true identity of the killer and what drove them to this madness? Resolve the threat by empathizing with the killer, then bringing them in peacefully.
There's the friend one. That's the one we want, or I
also
want.
The hardest one.
I understand. Friendship is difficult.
There's also a mask available called the Mask of Beauty.
ooh.
Oh, I feel like that's
And it's-
very Francis mask.
It's literally someone's face that has been cut off.
Whoa. Sally, why?
Well, that's what you're here to find out. Sally No Face.
But I definitely want to. I think Paloma definitely wants to be friends with Sally No Face.
Well, yeah.
I could use a face. I don't have a face yet for the child. It's really specific, but
Oh, yeah. Head and some eyes.
yeah, eyes. What? I'm not the killer. I don't kill. I just take after it's
They're
No
all
longer.
already dead.
That's one of
have a
Paloma's
beneficial.
other personas she's been trying on, Sally No Face.
I know, like, what is Paloma's dude name?
Hmm.
Pat, no.
Paulie.
Happy birthday.
Polly, yeah, Polly. I love it.
Bally, hey, Bally.
Hey, Paulie. Where's your tuxedo? Is that dirty?
Yeah, Polly's like real charming. Like it's just this thing Paloma's trying out.
Trying out the whole charming thing. Great.
Wants to be
The
Francis.
morning is yours.
It is modeled after Francis.
Like a Francis impression.
It's like a Francis impersonator. Polly.
Francis has no awareness of this. It's like, what a charming man.
It's like looking at a mirror.
Cool. What would you like to do today?
We want to go to the infirmary.
For God's sake.
God, I'm pulled apart still.
I will go to the infirmary as
Or
well.
do our vices in some way.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What's
But I think the infirmary helps us double up on something. I need to look it up.
When the vulnerable move is triggered in the infirmary, each hunter can clear one additional physical condition.
Yes.
So
Yeah, that's
Or
where
get
we
rid
should do
of-
our stuff.
that we get rid of pulled apart, but I don't think that's the only
Boom.
physical
Is foolish
conditions
not
that you
physical?
have.
Okay.
Foolish
I
is
mean,
not
still,
physical.
that's a freebie still.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll still take a freebie.
Cool. So tell me how. So is it you and Francis or everybody?
Oh, it depends on if Gareth wants
yeah.
to be there or not.
I mean, I figure I'll probably, roll in with my morning absence.
Yeah,
What
he's
else
just,
am I
like,
doing
taking care
around
of
Howard
himself.
Grave House?
Self-care. Garrett's got a self-care going
And you
on.
don't have to clear the ward of the void if you don't want to.
Right.
Exactly. No,
Yeah. You probably want to hang on to that for.
I'm keeping
Yeah,
that.
might want to keep that.
So Paloma and Francis, which one of you is engaging in your vice?
We're assuming Gareth is not with us.
Oh, is Gareth? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be there. I'm just not.
He's just
clearing
there
the thing.
hanging out.
I'm just-
Yeah. If it's your vice, then yeah, okay, you can do the choice about the clue or past.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
so
yeah,
last
yeah.
time we did Francis's vice. We could do Garrett's vice this time.
Cool. So you're down in the infirmary. Tell me what it looks like taking care of yourself, being pulled apart, it's all
Oh,
sprained and twisted.
Well, first she needs a shot of absinthe.
Just-
Whew.
Everybody does.
Did you get that, Paloma?
Yep. That I got a shot of absinthe. What am I? Sorry.
How are you taking care of yourself
How am I
to handle the sprains and pulling apart?
I think I have a since I was pulled apart. I wonder if Paloma has like a weird corset contraption that I'm trying to fit myself in, and I'm like trying to get Francis to turn the screws on it.
Oh, right.
like a reverse wreck.
Don't be gentle, Francis.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a
God.
reverse. Yeah. Don't worry, no
one
matter
could-
how loud I scream.
No one could withstand a corset being tightened in this fashion.
Do we need a safe word in this environment?
Necessary.
Somehow there's a hand crank attached to it.
Yeah, need to be put back
More
together.
purchase.
This little machine.
Ah,
And so everyone is taking part of the absence as you're doing this.
yeah,
The safe word is no face.
really specific.
Crank, crank, crank.
Cool. What are you talking about?
Well, I think top of mind for Francis is knowing that he admits that he went through with the hypnosis, even though, and I guess this doesn't mean anything specific to Francis, but even though he saw small shadowy creatures with tentacles wafting towards Tomsey as he was performing the process.
Oh,
But that's
what-
probably nothing important.
Was
but still.
Gareth there when you were doing that? I don't remember.
We didn't say I was.
Yeah.
So,
Let's say you weren't, but by his descriptions, you immediately recognize it as the thing from the void.
So it's probably just some other ghost spirit that's hanging around Hargrave House, as they all do. But
sounds
still,
very
I
much
feel
like the strange thing I saw in the orgasm void.
we need to unpack several things here.
much like the Society Obscura, Gareth has different rooms for different activities and different themes.
I mean, you all walked in on the whole end of that, so I didn't think it was anything terribly surprising.
This is where you were before. We saw him appear in the room, right?
Yeah, he popped back from the fruitful void. Yeah.
Very
So
fruitful.
this is where you were before?
Yes.
And you saw these tiny little creatures?
Well, no, I saw one very large one.
Oh dear. And I
The
left
thing-
poor Tomsy with that.
No, listen to me. As someone who has dealt with the void my entire life, let me tell you something. The void is always looking for cracks to get in, all right? And it will find any crack it can. That has nothing to do. It is not your fault. It is constantly anything any one of us might have done could have let these in. The veil is so thin, especially here at Hargrave House. So do not for a moment think that it was anything you did or failed to do or lack of ability thereof or anything like that. You could have been simply making beans on toast, and if it was the right alignment of the stars and the moon and things, that could have been the crack that the entities needed to get through.
In all lowercase and a large speech balloon, but I love beans on toast.
And Gareth, I think you having realized that was what happened, you kind of look back at that morning and feel you remember feeling some sort of strange pull on you, and you know that this the fragrant void is the creature there is unlike all the other dark entities that you are accustomed. You are completely comfortable with them in a lot of ways. But
had sex with many of them.
Feel that perhaps your experience with the void actually was part of what kept whatever was there from entering a Hargrave House. I think your ward was active there.
Indeed, there's something different about this one. And the fact that these little mini ones, I feel perhaps, I don't know, but they might be trying to find a way into Hargrave House. They're different from most dark entities I deal with. First of all, I don't know if they have any sexual organs.
I didn't see any.
Yes, I didn't see any obvious places to pleasure them. I mean, I suppose licking a tentacle might do something, but I wasn't about to try that.
I'm just imagining like 20 minutes later.
various possibilities that could have occurred.
And
Now,
everyone
I
has
didn't
a new
see-
condition now.
In the center of the tentacles, I don't know what's there. There could be an orifice, perhaps a cloaca or a beak. I don't know. I had no view.
Francis is alarmed, but not interested.
Anyway, I digress.
Very
I'm sorry.
scientifically interested.
Paloma, how are you being vulnerable in the scene?
Yeah. Let's see. Trying to remember what happened last time.
Cause the ghoulishness.
Oh yeah, we were. I think I'm like expressing gratitude to Gareth. Like I think I'm like, Gareth, I really appreciate it when you include me in your rituals. It was. I'm glad we pulled off St. Lucy's Day this time, despite any thought. Us. As Francis cranks it tighter.
Oh yeah. Was that the safe word?
Well, for us to be an
keep going.
effective team, I realized it is good that we have this level of trust and bond with each other. For as you saw in that moment many times, in the thick of it, there's not much time to act or react or discuss things, and you have to, I would normally be hesitant to just involuntarily pull someone in like that, but I knew you would see the greater purpose in it.
And I I haven't expressed this around the two of you, and I realize now with events with Sally No Face that I should perhaps share with you that despite my behavior at the Society Obscura, I do actually enjoy dressing up more than I usually let on, and it's not embarrassing so much as just hadn't gotten around to telling you that. I guess what I'm trying to say is, Francis, you met Polly the other night.
Splendid chap.
Carla washes Polly's clothes.
Oh,
and
so you might have some information then.
Yeah. I was wondering, maybe he would want his clothes back from her, as indelicate as that is.
So wait, this Polly fellow might want his clothes back from
Clara.
Clara.
No, you know what? We said no secrets. We said no secrets. I am Polly.
Wait, what? Wait,
No.
are you Clara as well?
No, I'm not Clara.
All right.
Completely different person.
I think Francis
Kind of rude.
holding out a thumb at mustache
She was also
level.
dead.
Kind of
Well, as long as we're laying all our cards on the table here, and no judgment, please understand this. But
no.
just for transparency, how many people are you?
Just 2 so far.
Oh, just the 2. All right. So
and how do you feel about shopping?
Oh, Polly loves
For
it.
men's fashions.
Yes, and I was actually just about to tell you anyway, Francis, because I've been. You may have noticed that Polly is modeled after some of your fashions, and I feel like I'm not quite keeping up these days. And I just wondered if maybe the two of maybe Polly and you could go shopping one day.
Yes, he's very excited about it.
I think Polly is not quite sure yet how to get the fit right.
I think Francis is sitting still, but you can see him kind of vibrating with excitement.
Well, you please also let Polly know that while I do not necessarily share quite the same high fashion as Francis, I do have at least a few outfits that I have outgrown myself in that Polly would be welcome to.
Oh, well, I would let Polly know. That is very generous.
Cool. I think
Thank you.
Paloma clears both her conditions.
Yes, so vulnerable.
Francis, do you want to get rid of Ghoulish or Callous?
I feel like story-wise, Callous is the one that got discussed in the scene.
All right.
So still ghoulish.
Oh. And how do we help him get rid of that? Can we get rid of that
Just
one?
gotta do another
Gotta do
thing to clear his
something.
condition.
And
I
will
guess
say
the
that
shopping spree will have to happen.
My vice is
I feel like at some
extravagant
point when Francis leaves the room for like a moment, with good film, like, is it just me, or is Francis a little more off-putting than normal lately?
Oh God!
I didn't notice anything. I guess I'm just kind of used to that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Nothing. I don't think anything terrible is afoot.
He did. It was hard to tell him and Lloyd apart at some point last night. Maybe it was dark or
perhaps I'm
body
just
handling. I don't know.
seeing things through the absinthe glasses.
All right. What does the rest of the morning hold for you?
Shopping spree.
Shopping on the way to Cremorne Gardens.
Yeah, Paloma's gonna dress up like Polly.
Wait, did Gareth stumble on a clue or invite a question? Min-maxing.
Yeah. Would you like to get a clue, or would you like to ask one of them about their pasts?
Ooh. You know what this requires? This requires a die roll because they're always both good. There's the man, we always need more clues, but also it's fun to find out about people. And I got to give some of my past, but I don't think either one of them has yet. So let's just roll a little die here. 1 to 2, it's a clue. 3 to 4, it's a question.
Da-da-da.
And it's a 1, so it's a clue.
It's
Clue.
All right.
Our
Which
secrets are safe.
mystery would you like to get a clue for?
Let me take a look at the old sheet here, see how we're doing. I mean, obviously, we've got,
We got the
a brand
creature,
new one.
we got the camera, and we got Sally.
So the creature we currently have, so we know it's real,
Zoinks.
and we've used all our
Zoinks.
clues. So we have one
Except
more.
for the new one.
Yeah, I got a clue.
We know we're gonna go for the 8 difficulty on Sally No Face because that's how we roll.
Reroll.
And we need 8 for the camera as well. Oh man! Oh
We
man!
have 4 for that.
We've done enough
Oh, that's true.
murdering and resurrecting in our time.
I'm gonna go for the creature. I feel we're focused on the creature currently, so let's
Alright.
do that.
Made a promise.
Let's see, what do we get from the creature? Oh yeah, let's do that. So as you wrap up, I think Gareth takes one look over the telegraph, one more look over the telegraph to just see if there's anything left in there. And after finishing up, he notices on the back page in what looks like it could be grease paint or charcoal, something dark and crude. Someone has written a message on the back of it, and the message says, "Albertina will pay for this!" exclamation point.
And what
Someone
telegraph is
paying
this?
for our subscription.
And if you
the
mention
Daily
this,
Telegraph.
Oh, the Daily
Yeah.
Telegraph, right?
yeah,
I was thinking of a did we say
Yeah.
telegraph?
So very expensive.
And if you mention this to Francis, which I imagine you will, Francis
No
Francis
secrets
knows
between us.
Albertina.
Oh, I do.
She is a bon vivant who hangs out at the gardens.
Oh, of course.
Usually near the dance. I go to.
Unlike most television shows, our show, we do not constantly keep secrets from each other, leading to all the problems.
Yeah. Just
We
tell
share the
thing.
secrets, leading to a different set of problems.
More
Now we make
problems.
new problems because now
The
we need
problems
to get my clothes
together.
Back. We must investigate the Watchwoman's house.
Oh man, yeah.
So many shows where it's like, yeah, that whole thing would have been avoided if that person just would have told the other person what the fuck
Just
was going
talk
on.
to each other.
Yeah. Laziest writing ever.
Yeah.
Although I just
Um,
recently watched While You Were Sleeping, the 90s rom-com.
Oh yeah.
There's a deal where Lindsay and I made each watch a movie.
Nice.
So you made her
nice.
watch that. Got it.
Made her watch Millennium Actress. But While You Were Sleeping does a great job of, if they just told each other, it would be fine. So they would do all of this. They make a huge thing out of throwing every possible impediment into sharing information to the point that you're
It's
like,
quite fun.
this is kind of majestic at this point. You built a whole half hour of screen time to keep these people from leveling with each other.
Yeah.
He's trapped in a salt mine. That's
It's
impressive.
very 90s too. It's very like, I refuse to be honest about this.
Albertina will pay for this. So it sounds like we need to go talk to Albertina.
Wait, you know what? You know Albertina?
Everyone knows Albertina. She is
I'm
a
someone.
delight.
I don't know Albertina.
Oh, you will. You will. You should come with. I should introduce you. It is a crime and a shame.
Good. I've
And
been
it's
longing to
terror
be
that you do
someone.
not know, Albertina. I'm sorry. I meant nothing by it. I merely
No,
meant
no, I jest.
the
No
bon
offense
vivants
taken.
of high. You will love her. You will absolutely love her.
Oh, yes. And Paloma comes out dressed as Polly.
Polly!
Yeah, just instantly shouting.
Just
Would you-
one request. I know that you two know my identity, but could we just keep it between the three of us chaps today?
I don't know what you're talking about, Polly. Would you like to come meet Albertina?
I would love to meet Albertina. I've heard she's the bee's kneeses. Whatever saying that would have been.
Oh,
Heck no.
Paloma's going to be so sad she missed out.
Oh, I'm
They
sure
missed
Paloma
out.
needs the rest.
Yes,
Paloma's
yes.
had quite the.
So let's just cut to the gardens. It's early afternoon and things are in full swing.
Does that mean Francis got to go shopping on the way over?
no.
Francis. Poor
I'm just
Francis.
curious, Peter. My gut, my gut tells me that that Francis is so in on this ruse that I don't think he really fully. I mean, he knows
has
that Paloma
forgotten.
and Polly are the same person, and yet,
It doesn't really click.
It's easier for Francis to just think of them as different
yeah,
people.
I think in Francis' mind, really is treated like two completely
Francis keeps
different.
being like, my
people."
friend Paloma. My friend Paloma. Wow,
At one point, he's probably like,
about me a lot when I'm not here.
"We should have lunch, the four of us, sometime."
Sure, certainly. Sure.
Sitcom antics.
Yes.
It's bosom buddies, but in the Victorian era, kind of.
Oh. No problem at all. That'd be easy.
But when you arrive at the gardens, it is fairly busy. A little bit less than usual, you notice.
On account of the terror.
On account of the terror, yeah.
On account
The dance platform is not full, but there are people dancing. And Albertina is there, of course. She is not a dancer herself necessarily. Or she
has
is
people
a dancer,
dance for her.
she doesn't like to show off until it's time to show off.
The designated dancer. I
But
love
she
it.
is she is standing nearby watching, chatting with a small crowd of admirers. She has one of the shiny a fascinator thing on her head and a cocktail, and you can see from a distance as the camera sort of pans in, she is being visibly witty. And when she sort of looks around and sees Francis, she waves and beckons you
It
over.
waves back and
Yeah.
golden retrievers over to her with Polly and Gareth in tow.
And she hands her drink to one of the gentlemen standing nearby her and gives you a kiss on both cheeks and says, Francis, where have you been? It's been dreadfully boring without you. I mean, no offense, but conversation here is lacking. I try to dance as much as possible, but these old legs. And she's 22. I just can't
Practically
keep up with
middle-aged.
myself anymore.
Does Albertina have a surname? And if not Willoughby, why not?
Well,
I said Willoughby.
it is Wilk.
Well, excellent. Oh, dear AW, I'll have to take you to the Society Obscura. They had
That sounds delightful.
fascinating party there. But in fact, I've not been here because I've been on business at that party. There was
Oh, really?
There was a
You've
whole
been going to
thing
parties without me.
only scouting them out to make sure that they are of quality. AW. We don't
Well,
want another.
you must bring me next time you go.
We don't want another Belgravia incident,
Oh
do we?
no, I haven't been able to show my face in that neighborhood in months, thanks to you.
Oh dear. But in fact, I have been
Belgravia
all-
is the neighborhood where
Hargrave House
Yeah.
is. No, but I have been all business, and in fact, this is going to be terribly exciting. And then he holds open. He hands the newspaper over to Albertina. Have a look at this. And he's just got this kind of childish,
Mhm.
and then
And she
turns.
flips through it.
Yeah, doesn't
Flips
see the
through
back.
it. It's like, okay, all right.
And then with dramatic flourish, he turns it over to the last page.
And she just goes she doesn't even go white. She just looks visibly stunned and sort of staggers a little bit. And
Meanwhile,
Sort of reaches-
Francis is like,
yeah.
"Isn't this cool? Isn't this cool?" Not tweeting
Notoriety.
for a full second or two.
yeah, she is
You're
Visibly
involved
shaken.
in something shocking and exciting, Albertina.
I'm always involved in something exciting and shocking, but this seems dangerous, doesn't it, Francis? Where did you get this?
It was delivered to Hargrave House just as part of our normal subscription. I can only guess that somebody involved in the press might have it in for you, or somebody who was loitering about Hargrave House. either way, it seems like we have a connection, you and Hargrave House now. That's why I brought my associates here, if I may introduce.
And she finally acknowledges
Yeah.
the two of you.
Mr. Gareth Arkpenny, connoisseur of the paranormal,
Charmed.
visionary of the unknown, and Mr. Paulie Safby, who has just joined our team here.
Delighted to meet you, Mr.
And can
Staffy.
speak to his own specialties, I'm sure. But
Paloma mostly gets along as Polly by not talking. That's how
oh no.
she makes herself more charming by talking less.
People are like, "Oh,
mysterious.
it's so enigmatic."
Strong's like a very mysterious silent type.
We
Do you dance, Polly? Mr. Safi.
And just swoops her off to the dance floor.
All right. What kind of music is playing?
Oh, let's see, it's 1870.
Rock and roll. No, I'm kidding.
I was just like, why am I thinking about polka?
Like a waltz.
Yeah, polka works.
A waltz? Yeah, maybe like a
Victorian
waltz.
equivalent of a
Waltz.
polka.
No,
Yeah.
I think there is.
Oh God, can I make
Okay.
a suggestion?
And as she's
Yes.
I have
Yeah.
an idea. I want to make sure that this is contemporaneous. Let's see. Oh no, it's the wrong era.
polka is in fact one of her favorite dances. And
Okay.
Remember,
Alright.
this is our fantasy version of this world. So
Yeah.
it doesn't
I was going
necessarily.
to suggest. Yes. Okay, cool. The hornpipe, which is a dance where everyone pretends to be sailors.
Yes.
I love it. That's coming up next.
It's contemporary in this London.
And as you're dancing. Of course, you're not dancing very close, but enough to be able to converse as you sort of pass each other and do all the polka stuff. And she's
It's,
like,
it's just her doing the talking.
Yeah, she's I love all the new dances, the polka, the Portland, the Boston, but the
Holly's a
Viennese-
very good listener.
the Viennese waltz is how I made my reputation with this set. Have you heard of the tango? It's South American. It's very dramatic. And she just loves talking about herself.
So Polly is perfect for her.
Yeah.
Lots of smiling and laughing.
Yeah, as long as you're smiling and laughing, let's make an investigation roll with your presence.
Yes, we got
With your strong and silent
Investigation.
presence.
I love this silent
Polly-
investigation.
Oh, Polly's fun.
And you
All this
silently charm her
turned
enough
out
to get her
because
to-
you made me have a relationship with the washerwoman. All from just heightened one tiny thing. Okay, what is my presence?
Hey man,
Zero.
we lean into our choices here.
I'm trying to figure out if I can do something to wingman if
Do I get a wingman?
required.
Wingman move, wingman move.
Been wingmanning so much already. All right,
That's a
7.
7. That'll do it. Okay, so you will find a clue, but there's a complication.
Oh,
There always is
and-
with polka.
whatever could it be?
As you're
So there's a complication
Mustache.
for Polly, but
Mustache lips.
Loma is
are you wearing a mustache?
Yes.
All right, I think that's a great idea then.
Polly has like a little, whatever Francis looks like. I think Polly is trying
the same thing.
like a mini, like a tiny Francis. Yeah, like the same kind of, like it looks different enough from Francis because Francis is so much more larger and looming, but it's like a little tiny version. Because that's like Paloma's one model for like beauty.
Super
and
charming people.
It's conventional male beauty.
conventional male beauty.
But
But yeah, the mustache maybe is
Your
sweating.
mustache does,
It's not dance proof
as you
yet.
do a-
Blue.
as you do a big spin around, it just kind of like flies off and lands
Oh.
on her cheek.
Oh, that's a big complication.
And she like swats as if there's insects there, and then looks at you and stops talking. But finishes the dance with you and is very gracious. So thank you so much, Mr. Safby. I've got to go freshen up. Tell Francis I'll be right back. to talk to all of you about your whatever wonderful things you've been up to right now. It sounds like they're starting the what's it called, the horn blower?
Hornpipe.
The hornpipe. It sounds like they're starting up the hornpipe, and I cannot abide sailors, so I must take leave for a moment. And she just sort of rushes off.
Yeah, Polly's just been doing a deep frown and like trying to hide his face, but it's like slowly edging away.
You notice that in her haste, a piece of jewelry is on the floor where she was. And you're not sure if it belonged to her or if it was someone else's, but the clue that you're getting from this is a piece of missing jewelry.
Oh, I missed a perfectly good chance to wear risque or avant-garde fashion at this. Oh, well.
You still can. No reason we can't.
Still chances.
Yeah,
This game is so.
I forgot what I was supposed to be doing today.
I keep having to like remind myself that in this game, clues don't actually mean anything other than what we want them to.
Yeah.
My mind is starting like, okay, how's that factor into the mid? Oh, however we want it to factor into the that's how that factors in.
I will
It's part of
say,
the fun, though.
It is.
if we do get to go shopping today, I'm buying the most risque or avant-garde thing.
Yes, and Polly will too.
Polly, what do you do after the dance with the jewelry you found?
I think Polly quickly grabs mustache and jewelry and hides
What's the
face with
correct one?
the hat and kind of saunters back over to the other two.
Hmm.
Or at least to Gareth. I'm sure Francis is caught up in some conversation
He's
or
being a
dance
sailor.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll
You
say
should
that the
surely
hornpipe
showing-
involves like looking out to sea and then looking out to sea in the opposite direction. I think people fall on invisible ropes.
Oh.
great.
He's learned it from his sailor thrall.
The first time you do the
Oh,
hornpipe, you have
did
to swab the
Francis-
deck.
Did Francis invent this dance from
gosh.
learning about sailcraft from his thrall? He's like, I'll make a dance out of this charmingness.
I bet he took whatever was there and made it even more so. Like,
Yes. He's currently teaching people, I think.
hmm.
But yeah, Polly kind of just is kind of trying to hide and trying to figure out if the mustache will go back on or if we should just I think we're decided that it's just sweated off and
Oh, Polly, I see your alopecia seems to be acting up.
Oh.
clean shaven day, it seems.
Did you learn anything from Albertina?
I did find it.
Well, that's interesting. For some reason, I'm yet to determine this, but it is interesting.
Yeah, and gives it to Gareth.
Was
Gareth's
this
like,
hers?
"Totally." Unclear. Definitely fell off of her person.
Can it be a bejeweled octopus?
Absolutely can be.
Yes, it can.
It definitely is.
Oh man, so that gives us 3 clues for a complexity 4.
Or better yet, I don't know, a bejeweled vampire squid. Because vampire squids are cool.
Done. So while Francis is being a sailor, what are y'all up to?
And this is still daytime, right?
Yeah.
Day party.
Otherwise, I'd be telling you what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Fair point, sir. Fair point.
Francis, who are you dancing with?
Oh. Okay, so Albertina is not there. Who else do we know who's at Cremore Gardens?
So there's Tommy. There is Abigail, who I think was one of the ones who was attacked. Let me see. Look over that again. No, it was Simon and Belula. So Abigail is Abigail is Kamsi's daughter. Simon and Belula are they're not at the garden today.
Yeah.
There is an artist that you know that hangs out there, James Whistler. He's not at the dance.
James McNeil Whistler.
And there are some, it's like a handyman and some other folks, and just like a bunch of nobodies.
Okay, I feel like Francis has to be dancing with James McNeil Whistler.
Yes.
And it's just talking his ear. I want to do an information move where he's just talking his ear off about we're investigating that something strange might be happening at Cremore Gardens, and I'm afraid none of us have the eye, right? The eye for knowing what is out of place in a natural scene. I look around here, I see only the pristine and undisturbed beauty of a seaside fun fair. But who knows what could be lurking beyond this.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
My dear friend Gareth, for example, he is an expert on the supernatural and can see any scene and understand how creatures beyond our world are curling their talons around the edges of what we can perceive.
Supernatural, you say?
Oh, yes, but that's not important here. This is just about the scenery. And I, for instance, Mr. Whistler, does anything seem out of place in color, line, or detail here at Cremore Gardens? Or is this just a normal, perfectly reasonable day?
This does seem like a reasonable line of inquiry. So let's make a investigation roll of reason.
Okay, what is my reason? -1, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm rolling 2 dice.
We need a reverse wingman move.
Oh yeah, maybe we need study buddy.
Study buddy.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a study buddy move.
Always ask the painter. Okay, my modifier is -1. And I roll and I get a 2.
Woo! Nothing would help you there.
Whoa.
Literally nothing would help you there.
I'm just burning off the
I
bad
thought we
dice.
reviewed before the test.
Oh my.
Okay. Are you pointing out anything in particular while you're asking him that?
I think I'm pointing out the edge of the water where where the grassland falls off.
And is this conversation happening while you are dancing?
I think
or
so.
Afterwards. Yeah. Okay. I think when you, as you like point and gesture in that direction, he immediately stops dancing and just sort of gives you a look, and just says, "What do you mean by asking me that?" And he's just standing stock still in the middle of a bunch of people doing the sailor move.
Yeah, I think Francis is still. What did I mean? Just that I'm nothing beyond what I asked, just that a deeper understanding of this place would help us understand how to free it of this threat that people are speaking of. I see I have transgressed.
This is an inappropriate topic of conversation between relative strangers. I'll be speaking to who I'll be speaking to.
Your mother.
I'll be speaking to
Society Obscura.
and he gestures to there's a man standing near the edge of the dance platform, kind of like hot dog shaped, with a little hat and a big mustache. That's very tidy. Tweed coat. Says, "I'll be speaking to my friend, Inspector Pettigrew here. I'm sorry, I have very pressing business with him." And he like tips his non-existent hat and rushes over there. And
I'm sorry, team.
No worries.
He doesn't
I've been
grab
there.
him by the lapels, but he kind of like puts his hands on his chest and leans in and whispers something and points over to you. The man had been smoking a pipe and sort of like listening intently. And as he backs away, he takes a puff on his pipe and stares you down. And as if he's and Whistler sort of rushes off, and he is like just making uncomfortable eye contact for as long as possible until the dance ends.
Oh man.
Oh, Francis, dear. I just,
Do people feel like taking a break?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's already 9.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Snack.
Cool. Let's
Oh,
take
I forgot you're an hour ahead. I'm
5-ish.
like, no, it's not. It's only 8.
Oh, yeah. Time.
Cool. We'll see you in 5.
Dig it.
Thanks.
Hello.
Oh.
Does anyone have the darkened threshold marked? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Oh, suspiciously clear of your Mask of the Future.
That is weird. Thought I'd, because I know I had Cosmic Passage and I cleared it.
Yeah, I think that's the only one you've taken. Yeah.
Huh, guess so. Interesting.
Blood-soaked portals all around.
Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah, no worries.
No worries. I decided that Polly has not been out in the daytime before,
Oh,
and so the miscalculated on the glue for mustache,
yeah.
and probably needs some help contouring, but we'll get there.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Francis knows best. It's not Francis's first rodeo.
Yeah. Where were Gareth and Polly while Francis was finishing up his hornpipe?
For some reason, assumed we were sitting at a table.
Skee ball. Yeah, a table.
If they have skee ball, sure, yeah, let's go.
I just imagine like a Victorian version of skee ball.
That probably has somehow an even sillier name.
Yes. Skadoodle ball.
Peg the woggle.
So after the song ends, the inspector continues making eye contact, and he doesn't beckon you over, but he's just looking at you expectantly.
Oh, Francis is probably used to that.
Right, yeah.
So what are y'all doing?
So that piece of jewelry that Polly found, we don't know that it came from Albertina, right?
Not necessarily, no.
Would this be like an information move type thing? I was thinking
This was a clue already.
Right, but I mean further to that, I was thinking of maybe seeing if Polly wanted to dance so that we could surreptitiously scope people out on the dance floor, seeing if anybody was like wearing a matching piece of jewelry.
Yeah, if you fix Polly's contouring, Polly will go right back out there.
Since we don't know it was Albertina, so it's like, well, let's see if anybody else is a little something that matches this style.
Let's see. I think it would be.
I'm sure Gareth is also used to fixing people's makeup.
It's true.
Not with your new small business.
Let me see what else already have. Cool. Yeah, sure. Why don't you do that? Which one of you wants to make the roll?
Guess it
I've
depends
already
on
made
what
a
we're-
roll, so.
Yeah,
I guess it would be me since I was instigating the whole.
And it's going to be with reason, so you both have 2 reasons.
There you go.
You're gonna be...
So as we...
Yeah, this feels like a Penn and Teller situation. Polly's the silent type.
So just a regular old reason roll?
Unless you want to use something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just checking and see. I don't think I have anything.
I wonder if Polly
Sean?
doesn't talk and Francis and Gareth understand Polly flawlessly.
Like
but
responding
no
to a look or a
Polly gives them a look and they're like, what? She did what? She ran off?
Yeah, no, I'm just going to make a straight up roll. I'm not going to bother blowing anything
2 dice plus 2.
Is this something Sean can help with?
Probably not.
No. Hey, why the fuck? Hold on, I gotta edit my reason roll. Why do I not? My pluses on there.
Distant
Stupid
places.
reason.
Okay.
There we go. 2d6 plus 2. That's what it should be. Here we go. Kabam! Big bucks, no whammies. That's big bucks.
Hey, oh boy.
Yeah, good roll.
So,
Wow.
great. Ooh, oh yeah.
Smash the crap out of that machination.
Now who's reasonable?
So,
Not me.
Not
Gareth.
Francis.
There it is. Let's see if I have something appropriate here.
And of course, I filled Polly in on the plan because that way we can have eyes going in both directions
Yeah.
as we scope people out. It's very efficient.
Mhm.
What
This
kind
is a
of
great plan.
what kind of music is playing?
I don't know if it's because this is
Swirl around with your hands.
I don't. For some reason, Blue Danube Waltz was what came to my brain. That's what I was.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lots of spinning and looking.
Excellent. Let's do that. So, looking around, you do not see. This is encrusted with maybe real, maybe fake diamonds and sapphire in the shape of the vampire squid. And you don't see anyone else wearing anything like anything remotely like that style-wise, but also, although these are kind of middle upper class, maybe top line people, no one is really looks like they would have something this expensive. What you do see, however, is on a chair or on a chair at one of the tables at the edge of the dance platform, you do catch a gleam of blue again, as if there's something else there, which there is. And you notice there's a pair of sapphire blue opera gloves with probably not sapphires on, but some sort of sparkles or
Weird. Just
sequins.
getting a whole outfit out of today.
And they also have little vampire squid.
Yes, they do.
And that is a mastermind clue. Your fifth mastermind clue.
I feel like this is going to make bad things happen to us.
Yeah. And as the band kind of winds down and people go off to the banquet hall or the saloon, they sort of walk to the promenade of the hedge maze or whatever. You realize that people, as people leave and there's not as much activity nearby, there's a strong smell of fish oil, just sort of like almost as if like it was not there as people were moving the air around, but now that it's more still, you can just feel the smell pervading the air.
You said a fish oil?
Yeah, strong fish oil smell. And that is your regular clue.
Good, thank you for the dance dramaturgy.
So I think, by the way, that Francis is just going to blithely go over and talk to Inspector Pettigrew.
Yes.
This is a bad idea. His reason is -1.
And yeah, so he, as you come over, he is refilling his pipe as he's maintaining eye contact and then sort of
oiling up his shackles.
Nods. Mr. Quinn, it is.
And I think he has the business card in hand, calling card in hand, and he tucks it back away in a pocket.
Yep.
You've heard of me. I'm afraid you have the advantage of me. So all I know of you is that you have excellent taste in pipeweed.
So you and your business partners have made quite a fuss here.
Well,
quite a bit of trouble for me.
I understand my dancing attracts attention, but I wouldn't call it disastrous.
I'm talking about Hargrave House and their ridiculous paranormal investigations scaring people away from the gardens. I've faced some scorn down at the station for being responsible for the area that is plagued by such ridiculous claims. And I believe that they are in no small part due to you and your
Oh dear.
friends
Well, we have
attempting
just
to drum up
Oh.
some sort of publicity for yourselves or notoriety for whatever reason.
we received more notoriety than we could ever want, regardless. I see what you mean. And what brought you here to Cremore Gardens? Are you two investigating the terrible crimes that have happened here?
I am a acquaintance of Mr. Whistler.
Whistly.
Yes.
Whether that's his name or not. Or whether that's his nickname.
Everyone either gets a acronym or a little E at the end.
Yep.
He's a resident nearby at Cheyenne Walk.
Brilliant
And-
artist, I must say. I don't know him, but I hoped to. I fear I made a poor impression on him. I was asking him if he saw anything,
Lighting his pipe while you're talking.
saw anything askew or untoward or different from normal light and color here on this fine day in Cremore Gardens, but he darted away as soon as I said it. Again, one cannot know what lies in the center of a man's heart, but I fear he has taken offense.
He is quite put off by the goings on here.
Oh dear.
He's attempting to live a quiet life, painting at his home and outside. In the park is a lovely place, and he does not wish to be disturbed by this nonsense.
Oh, of
So
course.
I have told him that I will be investigating this matter and bringing it to a close forthwith.
We have
so many rumors flying around, but the details are the only thing that matters. Anyone with half a brain can tell you that the idea of a fish man is a complete nonsense, and he's poking at you with his pipe now. But it's the details that will reveal the perpetrator of this hoax.
Oh man, I'm trying.
Make
I
him
want
your thrall, and then make him kill himself.
This is tempting. I feel like it would probably. I want Francis to trick him into giving up information, but I don't know if I can do that with presence and not just some sort of blithe well, I don't know. Every piece of evidence and detail we've seen has indicated it's clearly a fishman from somewhere beyond the ken of mortal science. No piece of evidence has indicated, no piece of evidence we have seen or could imagine renders it as some ordinary person doing these crimes. That's just silly.
You don't think the evidence that Cremore Gardens is faltering financially and could do with a bit of notoriety has any bearing on the matter?
I think we both
You
know
are
that.
close personal friends with Mr. Simpson, are you not?
You mean Tomsy? Yes, of course.
And he claims to have enlisted your help in this matter.
Did he directly enlist our help, or? Yeah, I think he did.
Directly, yes.
You have a connection with him, and having heard about it, you kind of approached him. But I think in his mind, he's like, "Oh yes, my good friends are helping me."
Yeah. And I think Francis just kind of doesn't sweat the details here. It's like, oh, of course, a friend in need, right?
Indeed.
It's what the whole friendship, the whole ship of friends is about, is not?
Well, of course, I can't officially do anything yet. Although I know there has been some vandalism on the grounds and below ground.
The tunnels.
The vandals are the worst. People who would degrade the beauty of a place.
But consider this an official warning that Scotland Yard has this matter taken care of, and we do not appreciate additional interference. You've made a bad name for your so-called Hargrave house in this area, and I advise you to stay clear. And with that, he pivots and begins walking away.
Whoa, punch him.
Yeah, like player-wise, is there anything I want
He's
to?
offended your honor.
Oh God! So
I don't know how Francis feels about that. Maybe it's not as
man.
happy-go-lucky.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think Francis is sufficiently golden retriever-ish that it's just like, what a strange, interesting man.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I just had a conversation with a police officer.
Less spiteful than Polly Paloma.
Oh,
Yeah.
Less throwing rags at people's faces.
And he gets about, I don't know, 50 to 100 feet away, a ways away, and enough
And
that he has to
explodes.
shout back at you. And turns around and shouts at you and says, I see your friend Dr. Safby is here. Tell her that Inspector Patterson says hello. And continues to walk away.
Francis,
First of all,
blink,
I'm not-
blink, blink, blink.
Yeah, Francis
What?
wouldn't dare dream of misgendering Polly.
Oh, is
He must mean
Paloma-
Paloma. She's
Paloma a she or
somewhere
a they?
else.
Polly is a
Okay,
he,
yeah.
that he, him,
Okay, yeah.
and Paloma is she, her.
He is
Get it right,
indicating that
Inspector.
he's indicating that he has made you and knows that if you are attempting to be in disguise for some nefarious reason.
It's not a
Francis-
phase, Inspector.
Francis is just like, I'll pass along the message when I see her.
Inspector Patterson was the
It's not a disguise, it's an identity.
Francis is like, I don't know where Paloma is right now.
I'll pass that along.
She couldn't make it.
I should write this down.
Maybe she's with the child.
Or maybe her
Lloyd.
crew of
Might be tutoring
resurrection.
Lloyd.
Yeah, maybe Lloyd is her new buddy. Harley wasn't available.
So the afternoon is winding on. What would you like to do?
Shopping spree.
Now is the time to go shopping. I think now it's time to go
Yeah, I
shopping.
feel like Polly is kind of making faces at Francis, indicating like, and what is being communicated is like, oh, I'm used to darker ballrooms
Oh no.
and less sweaty situations. I'm not ready for daytime. I could use
So
some
this
help.
is like montage of gentleman tutelage.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think Francis invites Polly out to Savile Row, which I think
Yes.
exists at this point.
We also have that poor boy in the sanitarium.
Oh yes, we were supposed to.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But if you want to go shopping,
We
great.
need to get the ghoulishness. Let's get the ghoulishness taken care of.
And get some risque
And
clothing for us.
something risque for both of us.
Yeah.
Is Gareth coming along or
Yeah.
is he doing his own
First-
thing?
No, I think Gareth is going to do his own thing.
What
Yeah,
is
that's
There
his
is a
own thing?
Scary boy in a
I
sanitarium.
know, he's torn now.
The brothel
You
might
could-
need you. Yeah.
You could visit Greco, the mystical boy.
You know what?
Not to.
Yeah,
no.
I was thinking brothel, but I think Mystical Boy takes preference. I can visit the brothel later.
Now that you put it that way.
I mean,
Oh,
like, look,
man.
you two have fun. Let's give Polly a great day out. I have all the clothes I need currently, so I'm going to go talk to the boy.
Oh.
But I don't think all three of us need to be there to talk to the boy, so have fun shopping.
Cool. I accidentally undid a bunch of columns on.
You bastard.
Oh no.
You can just undo that. It's
Okay.
should be able to. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
We
undoable.
weren't
Okay.
supposed to see.
Sorry. Okay, as you were.
I
Those are
didn't
just
get-
the characters
I
that we're not using.
Yeah.
No. Not
Um,
yet. There are new roommates.
Along
Yeah.
with the creature of Grimore Gardens.
You so yeah, you get the location from Mr. Simpson, and he, it's a it's not a hospital, but it's a used to be a private residence, probably given by a philanthropist for the treatment of young children who are suffering emotional trauma, basically, which there are a lot of in London in the 1800s.
For some reason.
No.
And he gives you a like little written like, yes, this is my buddy, he can come in. And a nurse shows you into the room. It's on the second floor, overlooking a nice there's like a park in a square. It's not huge, it's like a block-ish area. So there's a young boy. He just looks like any other boy now. He doesn't look like anything special, and he's just dressed in a white dressing gown and just sitting on the side of the bed staring out the window.
And we know, I'm sorry, what's his name? We know his name, right?
Greco.
Greco.
Or Greco. Probably Greco.
Greco, sure. Like, is there like another chair I can pull up beside him? Pull up chairs in front of him, me and Sean on my shoulder.
Oh.
Like, hello, Greco. My name is Gareth Arkpenny. I'm from Hargrave House. And I understand that you've had quite a harrowing time these last few days. And so Sean, this is Sean, the Crow. We wanted to come visit you and talk to you about what you might have seen. For we too have seen very difficult, strange, and dark, unexplainable things. So we understand.
Yeah, the nurse, the nurse is still there with you because she wants to make sure that you're cool before leaving you with the boy. And she's like, "Oh, he's been like that ever since they brought him in. He doesn't say a word. He just stares out the window. Doesn't seem sad or anything. Poor boy. The bruising is beginning to heal." And you can still see there's some on his, like on the side of his face and on his neck. But he seems to be fine physically. He just needs a little bit of rest to get himself together. Get some fresh air.
Yes. Madam, do you suppose that I might have a half hour alone with him?
Oh, of course. Take as much time as you need. You're a friend of Mr. Simpson's.
Super bad security.
It's just very important for the psychological process. Once it's started, I must make sure we're not interrupted, or it could be very damaging to the boy if we're interrupted mid-conversation. It's a process to draw them out of these catatonic states.
Oh, you're a doctor. I wasn't aware. I just thought you were a friend of Mr. Simpson's. Of course. I'll let you do your work in private.
Please, just make sure that we are not disturbed for the next 30 minutes.
Of course.
Thank you. Does this door lock from the inside?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Patience, could lock people out.
Chair put up.
Fair
next
enough.
to
After she's
slide
gone,
bed.
I'll close the door and start preparing my ritual.
Just straight to ritual.
Ooh, boy. Tell me about your ritual.
I'm guessing that I see no kind of reaction from Greco whatsoever when I'm talking to him.
He's just, staring out the window.
Have you done a baptism yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Perhaps
you can double up. That's fine.
Yeah, I say maybe perhaps I can find a way to communicate with him more directly. But I also, while I'm preparing the ritual, I'm explaining it out loud in case he is able to hear what I'm doing. But so, Greco, I'm preparing a circle to hopefully help you get some healing and some peace in your spirit, in your mind. I have some herbs that are good for such a thing. I have Sean with me that helps. And we are going to try to talk to you more directly, for I understand when you've seen some things that the brain can't comprehend, it can short-circuit the brain and sometimes sever those connections between the brain and the eyes and the ears and the mouth and things. So no fear, Greco. We are your friends here to help you heal and to get rid of whatever might have done this to you. I hope you'll join me on this lovely journey. And by the time I finished, chalking the floor in a circle pentagram and spreading some dust around.
What ritual are you perverting?
That's always a good question. Yeah, y'all recommended baptism, right? Because I hadn't done.
Ooh, maybe confession.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right,
That sounds
all
really
right.
good.
There's also an anointing of the sick,
Oh, yeah.
marriage, ordination. I'm just looking at it.
Well, he is sick. He could probably be used to be anointed in a way.
7 sacraments.
What will you be anointing him with?
Blood.
Yeah, I feel
All
as
right.
much as I hate, I feel like I
blood
have.
would be the best choice of anything Gareth uses.
Well, I feel like maybe perhaps after that whole business with the ghost, I still have a little bit of the perpetually warm special ghost blood.
Oh yeah,
Because I was like, well, that's going to be extra potent for rituals. That's going to be really good stuff.
Ghost blood.
Blood baptism.
Perpetually warm ghost blood. I took the one that almost rag that got all bloody and like squeezed it back out into a vial. I was like, I'll keep a little bit of this.
Which we all dipped in the vein.
So how are you telling more about the ritual?
So then I feel like he said he's standing over by the window, staring out the window.
Sitting on the side of the bed,
On the side of the bed.
staring out the window. And the window's like
Right.
a few
And is there
feet away.
room basically for me to make the ritual area between him and the
Oh, yeah.
window? So we're like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. That's where it is then. Then I figure like once I've done that and I get out my little bit of blood and mix it again with some herbs and special 23 spices and ingredients.
Colonel's
and,
secret, yeah.
yeah, secret recipes. And then I
It's a ranch packet.
yeah, a little bit of buttermilk ranch in there. And some sriracha. And
Ooh. This anointing has to be
get out some nacho chips. And then I'm going to slowly approach him like, now, Greco, I'm going to spread some of this very special mixture upon your forehead, which will help your mind
It's fucking spicy.
to communicate directly with me.
And directly with flavor.
Directly with flavor. The good thing is this is totally edible and you can lick it off your head when you're done. And then in honor of this ritual, since I do have Sean with me and I need some kind of symbolic symbol that just comes to me in the moment. And so I'm like, oh, yes, Sean, that's wonderful. I will draw a little crow on his forehead, little beak, a couple of little stick feet, a little tail, and with a circle around it. You are now bonded to Sean and I. And the ritual may begin, Greco, and we will find out this mystery together and we shall solve it.
All right. I think this is just gonna be a straight up roll with sensitivity, unless you want to use something else.
Yeah, wait, again, I'm trying to break myself of my habit of like, save shit for later. Why save anything for later?
Save nothing.
Because
Use everything.
I actually didn't plan this, but it's serendipitous because I also do have that crow's head walking stick.
Ooh.
And I'm like, it's all coming together. It's all serendipitous. Sean, the crow symbol, I have this crow's head walking stick. And so by using it, I'm using it up, right? So I won't have it after this, correct?
I mean, you'll still have it, but you won't be able to use it for it.
Won't be able to use it, right?
Yeah.
Fair enough then. Yeah. So then I feel like I use that and I touch that to Sean, touch that to his forehead, and then trace it around the circle, which then like starts glowing and magically smoking, not actual smoke that like fills up the room, but it dissipates very quickly.
Yeah. All right. So that's 3 dice top 2 plus 3.
3 dice top 2 plus 3.
I look forward to great things happening.
It's gonna be so awesome. 3 dice, the top 2 dice plus 3, right? Yes.
Yep.
There's so that's a 9, 10, 11, 12.
That is a 12. Great. You do it. The magic works without further cost. So choose your effect.
Choose your fighter.
It looks like you are communicating with someone. Sounds like.
Yeah, I mean I was just about to look it up to see what the actual list was, but yes, I am communicating with him. Was the intended effect, which is in the list, so great.
Cool. What does that look like as the magic works?
As it all starts up, I feel like Sean leaps off and starts like little flying circles around the two of us. And it acts as sort of like a guardian to and a lookout. And as that's all swirling, the Greco kind of like what an image of him, it might be a spirit, whatever, just image of him kind of comes out from him and is sitting next to him on the bed now.
Mm-hmm.
And he is like a normal child. You can
he just kind of like
talk.
blinks and looks at you, and like his mouth moves, but it's kind of like that, like that sort of reverse reverb, kind of like happening just after his mouth moves. He's like, why? Who are you?
I'm Gareth Arkpenny of Hargrave House, and I've come here to find out what happened to you and see how I can help you.
I was attacked by something.
Was it something that looked perhaps like part fish combined with a man?
It smelled of the sea, and it was very strong. It looked like a man, but it was dark.
Where do we know where he was attacked already? Was that something we already know?
He was attacked on the promenade. Yeah. Sort of like it's butting up against the fence on the edge of the gardens. Go ahead and make let's make an investigation roll with sensitivity.
Gonna investigate with sensitivity. We're gonna roll an 8, which is okay.
That's an 11. Oh, it's an 8.
Oh,
okay, great.
No, it's a total of 8. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Which is not bad considering one of those dice was a 1.
Yeah. Great. System changes.
Oh my gosh, this whole time I forgot to put my background on.
Oh no.
You guys let me be naked this whole time.
I thought you were just in a Victorian cottage of some kind.
I guess Polly gets a different background.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see. I'll clean up my mess.
Okay, yeah. So he describes since you know that the creature is real, and as he sort of, again, it's sort of like kind of like when Francis was hypnotizing Simpson, he kind of zooms in and out of detail almost like without helping himself. He sort of like zooms back and like describes the night and how the clouds looked and the moon coming through it and the sounds of the ocean and the way it smelled, and the smell sort of zooms back into something lurching out of the water, climbing up out of the water onto the promenade, and just pushing him down, and almost as if it was trying to get at something in him, very, very roughly, and you could feel the skin was cold and wet and rubbery, and the smell was just like dead fish, and he describes, and he's sort of drifting out and describing the sounds of the scene a little bit more, and then comes back in, and he's just like, I saw these black eyes. It was dark, but these just round, they looked like marbles, large marbles, just staring at me before I lost sight, but I could still hear things, and I heard, it was almost as if it was it wasn't next to me because there was no one there, but it was almost a reverberation of things that had happened there. I heard people talking, walking, lovers giggling, fishermen bragging about what they caught, and then I heard the voice of, it sounded like Mr. Simpson, and he was arguing with someone, and that came into more focus, but I couldn't make out what they were yelling at each other. It was him and a man with an American with dark curly hair, and they were just yelling at each other. They were having an argument, and the other man stormed away. And then I was here.
And all that you heard, that was while you were laying there where you had been attacked by the fish man.
Yes, almost as if it happened in a moment, but I could sense it all. I see things. I know that Mr. Simpson puts me on as an act, and I do my best to entertain the crowd, but I believe I do occasionally see things. I don't know how.
You have a gift, Greco, like myself, where you see things from beyond, from another world, from another time.
Yes. I see other people's dreams sometimes.
Other people's dreams. Do you know why the fish man would have attacked you, or what he would have been trying to get at inside you?
No, that's why it was so scary. I couldn't see I couldn't see into his mind. It was as if it was a beast in the shape of a man.
We are going to take care of this, Greco, and we're going to find this fish man, and we're going to stop him. Is there anything I can do to help you heal, to help you come back to your normal self again?
Do you have any candy?
I can get you some candy of any sort you like. I have some absinthe. It's kind of like candy, but you're probably a little young for that, I think.
I would very much like some candy. I feel like I have to go. Do I have to go?
If you feel like you need to go, Greco, you are free to do so, and I will bring you candy. Candy, I will be in your room forthwith, my friend.
All right. What was your name? Arkpenny?
My name is Gareth Arkpenny.
There's darkness around you.
Yes, there is, Greco, and it's something I've become quite adept at trying to keep at bay and keep from harming others. You see much. You're special, Greco. You're very special. Remember that. You have a gift. Don't let anyone tell you anything different.
And he just nods and fades away.
Sorry, I just saw Polly.
And when everything sort of fades back to normal, he's still sitting on the bed and still not talking, but he just turns and looks at you and kind of smiles. It's unclear, as if he's a little bit confused about what happened.
I say, get some rest, Greco. I'm going to go and get you some candy. You've been very helpful, and your information will help save lives.
He lies in the bed and closes his eyes.
I clean up all evidence of my ritual. Just wipe that off and just clean up his floor here, and nothing happened here. I'm just a very good psychologist who drew him out with my words.
So you did get a clue, and that clue is a vicious argument between two side characters. I imagine you know Simpson, of course, and you can piece together from what you saw and heard there that the other one was Whistler.
I can't keep track of who everybody is.
Whistler is the artist,
aka Whistly.
Do we have that? Do we have the side character somewhere in a tab somewhere?
Yeah, James McNeil Whistler.
I have not put him in there yet. I can't.
Okay. Oh, under London, there's some people. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with
right.
that.
And Simpson is the dude, the Cremorne Gardens guy.
Yeah, Simpson is the owner of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was fruitful. I do go get some candy and drop it back off in his room.
Yeah, and when you bring back the candy, he just looks at you and says, "Thank you." And I think the nurse was probably in the doorway, and she like drops her tray that she was carrying for just such a dramatic. Like,
and I tell him, I say, I leave my card. I say, if you need anything, you call on Hargrave House, and we will be here, Greco. You're one of us now.
One of us.
None of us.
Join our motley crew.
good consequence for this is
Too much candy. Tummy ache.
tummy ache.
It's a great consequence. Tummy ache. Yeah. I mean, if I'll volunteer, you can probably do something better. But the thing that comes to my mind from our connections, since I helped draw him out, is that I think he might have a little bit of a magnetic attraction to dark entities now as well.
Oh no! We've infected him.
Because he already had kind of a gift, and then now we've had this little moment, and might have opened up some doors.
I think that is
spread my disease.
And as you're walking out,
Syphilis of the magic world.
the nurse stops you and hands you a business card, and says, "I didn't want to bother you while you were busy, but a gentleman came asking for you after you had left. An Inspector Pettigrew."
Yay!
And he hands the card over.
New friend.
Oh yeah, we love him.
And that's the same one who was hassling Francis. Thank you, nurse. I shall attend to this right away.
Oh no, thank you. If there's anything we can do for you or Hargrave House, we'd be happy.
Yes. And if you need anything from Hargrave House, please do not hesitate to contact us, especially if Greco needs anything. He's a junior. He's our first junior Hargrave House member.
Junior varsity.
Little hunter.
Little junior hunters.
Note. Great. Tell me where you're shopping.
Let's see. I think there's like a little relatively speaking, hole in the wall place along Savile Row. There's these like giant, relatively large, well-attended shops, and then there's this one shop that's kind of a little building crammed between two larger structures, and that's Francis's usual place that he's taking Polly to. And it doesn't look like much. I forget. It doesn't look that auspicious from the outside necessarily. It has a couple of mannequins dressed in the latest styles. And what is the name of the place? Not Willoughby. Willoughby is all I can think of.
Mr. Kennery is the tailor and proprietor there.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Welcome to the world of Willoughbys.
There's just a placard hanging out with a like stylized K on it.
Yeah.
And as soon as you walk in, he immediately like, "Oh, Mr. Quinn, so nice to see you again. What have you come for? Who is your gentleman friend here? How can I be of assistance? So can I get you some tea? Albert, some tea, please." And
we have a challenge. My gentleman associate here, Mr. Paulie Safby, is new to high society and the world of fashion.
Oh, of course.
And I was hoping we could. A newcomer is always welcome to our world, is he not?
Yes, of course. that's how classes work in England.
The Victorian English way.
Oh God, sorry.
Mr. Kennery is Scottish, by the way, if you couldn't tell.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
then he don't give a fuck.
From the great accent.
Where was I going to go with this? But I think we should dive directly into the deep end, as it were, anachronistic phrase. But let's start with the most newfangled 3-piece suit that you might have.
Of course. And he like
in the French
he doesn't
style.
have to say it out loud. He just sort of motions, and a younger man comes up behind with several pieces of fabric and drapes them over and shows them to Polly.
Assless chaps.
Once you've chosen them, they start doing the thing.
Now you could pick a conservative color here, or the orange. I'm just going to
or the orange.
Sorry, I'm gonna talk over you.
Polly learns to understand Francis is like actually pointing at the thing. Now there are like Francis like seems to compliment everything, but really there's a clear right answer.
Yeah, there's a clear-
I mean, you could go with these traditional lengths, or the cropped length is actually a fashion.
In the interest of min-maxing, I'm trying to remember how I got ghoulish to begin with.
I don't remember. Was it?
What did we do last night?
Was it throwing the body off the
I
cliff?
think it might have been. Yeah, something to do with that. I think everyone got a taste of that.
Yeah.
So I think
Maybe
the
it's
moment.
holding nice fabric again.
Now, Polly, you would know nothing of this, but I feel like can confide in you man to man that being here in familiar places is a welcome respite. I will confess to you, I was involved in something rather sinister if one didn't understand the circumstances. And
Just love that Francis is already telling other people, and
yeah, this is
definitely I was there.
true. And I think you can just sort of see the scene kind of in dumb show of him relating the up to the top of the cliff.
And Polly is like giving you lots of reassurance of like giving you like facial expressions of like, oh, I too have done very sinister things. I reek of death.
We had our reasons for it, but still death kind of lingers upon one in a way that reminds oneself of mortality, perhaps, or of one's darker impulses, even when you mean well. And then there's just looks and
of course, all the Taylor buddies and assistants are
just
fussing
It's
around.
extremely exciting for Paloma, Polly,
They are
to like hear this side of Francis.
I feel like at
They
least
are
half the
in
reason Polly
they're in
doesn't
service
talk.
and not listening to outwardly reacting to anything that you're saying, but they're present as servants are.
I think at least half the reason Polly doesn't talk is because there's less chance of the mustache falling off that way.
Yes,
just very
it will fall
carefully
off
holding
again.
it up.
The more you move your mouth and your lip, the more danger.
Yeah,
you're
it
in.
flies off.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
quite right, Mr. Safby, that this is what we men have to do as part of our lives, is endure things that perhaps I don't know if this is my instinct is
I'm making you do all the work. I made my character.
No, I was gonna say I was thinking Francis's next line is to endure the things that the more frail among. I don't want to make it I don't want him to say something sexist. But I think
I think he means like non-hunters.
Yeah.
Non-hunters.
Okay, yeah. As hunters, we must do.
No
the
offense,
things.
you're not a hunter.
Not as you would not understand, but what hunters have to do, you'll find as you get used to the ways of Hargrave House, that to be a hunter is to face these terrible things, and in fact, to be weighed down with them is a sort of blessing or a badge of honor, perhaps.
It's
That
several
one has
times
done one's
Ollie
part.
has almost forgotten himself and just been like, it's me. It's
Cool. I think that clears your condition. If you wish.
Yay.
so vulnerable.
You're
The
back
old
to
Francis
zero.
is back. He's less creepy than he was been last night.
Oh, he shines.
Do you want
And in
to
a shiny
discover
creepy
a
suit.
clue or ask for a piece of the other hunter's past?
Oh,
In which
God.
case they would have
Oh,
to talk.
Polly's backstory.
I'm sorry. We need clues, but I want to know Polly backstory so much.
Oh gosh, yes.
Let me
Okay.
think of a
And it's perfect too, because I feel like, again, you're so wrapped up in the false identity that you're not even thinking that like Paloma doesn't want to talk as
Oh,
Polly. And you're like, please tell us more about you. I'd hardly know you, Polly.
Oh man, what is okay? I can ask about past.
Yeah, I'm
truthfully, but
wondering,
not
like,
necessarily
does
completely.
Polly answer as the character or like show you?
Because I think the question is and speaking hunter to hunter, that each of us has some event in our past, perhaps troubling, perhaps mysterious, that led us inevitably to fighting these battles against beings and creatures beyond mortal ken. And so the question that burns at me, Mr. Safby, is what event befell you that led you inevitably to the world of Hargrave House?
And I think mechanically, we want to hear about the other hunters past.
Yeah.
Oh no!
But you
I
can
was like, we
frame
could
it
do
as,
I was like, we could do an origin for Polly from Paloma's.
yeah, but you can frame it as coming from Polly, but it should be about Paloma.
Okay. But Francis asked about becoming a hunter, so that's about
Yeah.
Paloma.
And it'll work out great because I feel like later, if he talks to Paloma, he can be like, you and Polly have very similar backgrounds.
God.
Yeah, how did Paloma become a hunter?
Or it could just be, in my opinion, and Francis's question could just be an event that started you on the path and wasn't necessarily the reason in and of itself.
Yeah, because I know for Paloma, it's the death of her wife and child.
Yeah.
And then she was getting more and more into resurrection.
I guess that's how you became the mother.
That's how I became the mother.
But how
then
did the mother become a
became-
hunter? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Mother
working
hunter.
on that. And then became a mother hunter by yeah, I think by chance, like I think one night Paloma was digging in a graveyard out with Harley, looking for some jawbones. And there was a werewolf that had been kind of bothering Harley and his crew.
Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out how Polly is saying this. Like, I wonder if he's drawing or has a little roll of film. It's just like,
oh yeah.
Or puppets, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how to pull the like
Or
not talking thing.
Polly can also just talk here because the establishment is very discreet as well.
Okay.
And you already talked about like murdering people and throwing them off a cliff. So
yeah, I think Polly only talks. Oh yeah, so Paloma. So the character Paloma has crafted Polly as someone who doesn't really talk unless in really close quarters, and then will kind of always whispers and kind of has the other person lean in. This kind of
I might add that
quiet
maybe,
persona.
I would suggest maybe Polly feels really kind of safe and kind of centered here in the
yeah, after that vulnerability.
men's tailoring shop.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't an intentional career. I
Rarely is.
happened to be out on a different job looking for parts for a project I was working on. I like to keep myself busy building things, trying to make discoveries. And Harley and the boys had been plagued several nights with a werewolf. And I told them there's no such thing as werewolves, Harley.
Oh.
You know how these grave diggers can get so superstitious.
I've heard tell of them, though not through direct social intercourse.
In the nighttime, every rustle of a leaf, every howl of a cat becomes something supernatural. And I told Harley, I said, I bet you one round at the pity arcade that I'll treat you if this is a real werewolf. I can prove to you that this has a scientific explanation.
Somehow a glass of port has appeared in Francis' hand, and he's just watching with rapt attention.
Yeah, any refreshments you need are always
there. And so, as any scientist would, I set up an experiment. I said, Harley, my hypothesis is that if this is indeed just someone's dog, we can lure it with some of the butcher's meat. A werewolf, of course, would not eat meat that was already dead, was really just going after live flesh. So we, of course, were the null hypothesis in this case, if you might catch my drift.
I think Francis laughs, but in a way that indicates
does
he
not
understands.
understand. Does not understand, but understands that it's a joke. Knows the place to laugh. And lo and behold, it was someone's mate. It was not a dog, but it was not a werewolf. Turns out it was old Gary Loon. Just had wandered off from his home. You know how he sometimes suffers from that dementia state. He had apparently gotten one of his old bear skins on and was fumbling around the graveyard, and
so we shot him.
From that point on, the die was surely cast, was it not?
It was. But I started, Harley started giving me more and more jobs, and I started answering ads in the paper, and that's how I met you fellows.
Of course.
I figured I shouldn't be doing this all alone. I could have been, if it was indeed a true werewolf, I would have surely been a goner. I think it was Gary.
No hunter is alone, Polly. You will find that truism more and more in your years with Harley.
Really is not a solo endeavor, at least not for long. Yeah, so by accident, really, I was trying to prove someone wrong, and we proved each other incorrect.
And yeah, Francis is still idly ordering different pieces of fabric, like some giant eye-burning
I think
ascot.
Polly's been standing there like being fitted too. It's like so that's how Paloma and Polly both ended up here.
You walk out of there with a very nice new suit.
Does Francis have a risque suit, or is this for later?
I'm figuring, it's 3-piece suits are brand new, and it's some fabric that's just outrageous.
Oh my gosh.
Truly, truly, truly outrageous.
Yeah.
Covered in gems. Yeah. Cool. Evening is approaching. Ooh, you have 5 clues for this complexity 4 threat.
I don't know what you're trying to say. Trying to rush us. Trying to rush our process.
I'm just stating facts.
Oh, that's right. We done good on the creature this round.
Yeah,
might be a good stopping point to try to do that.
Yeah.
So you're saying like do it and then stop, or stop and then do it next time?
I would say stop and then do it.
Oh, either way.
Yeah, either way's good. What do y'all feel like?
Ooh. Yeah, I could see the strength in giving us the week to think about the clues we've got.
Oh yeah, we don't make up another ghost ritual.
But will we? Because I feel like we come back next week and go like, I didn't look at those clues all week long.
Did anyone remember what we did?
I think we did.
It is less than a week because it's gonna be Friday, right?
Oh, it's true. Yeah. Friday.
I'm just excited for nighttime when Francis tells Paloma all about his date with Polly.
Oh God.
Cool. So we'll call it there. I have homework because you got your 5th mastermind clue. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought you were giving us homework, and I was like, I refuse.
I get homework. I get to do some mastermind stuff by myself. Yeah. Awesome. Want to do a quick round of stars and wishes? Start with Heath. What did you like? What would you like to see more of?
I can't think of any wishes. I mean, I don't particularly remember feeling any particular lacks thereof this game at all. I don't know. I mean, I sound like a broken record, but I don't know. I just felt like everybody was pretty much in the groove this whole episode. Like it just felt smooth, and it was just fun, and like every choice we made was just entertaining, and just like, let's do that. Cool. Yeah, it just felt like a really easy one to go into this time.
Cool. Peter.
Man, why did everyone go sepia?
Just me. Did you
No, Mark
copy me,
did too.
Mark?
Yeah.
Let's see.
What's wrong with your computer, Peter?
Everyone looks normal to me.
I'm still Technicolor.
Oh, cool. Yeah, the appearance of Polly was a delight. And let's see.
Yeah.
I felt like I was min-maxing to get rid of my conditions, but I really liked having the two intimate scenes this time.
Yeah,
That's nice.
That's
Like
what they're there for,
after all of the like get the body to the cliff, throw the thing off the cliff, do the thing, to the thing. It is great for like shape of campaign or whatever to have this like, oh, okay, we're just kind of breathing and having a look.
And that's just like the natural flow of like how the rules shape the game. It's really
yeah.
Well, and back in to piggyback on what you said, I love that literally one of those tiny little prompts of like, okay, what was your relationship with this girl? Just turned into it's the whole thing now. And
that'll be. Sorry, Peter. You might.
Oh no, it is. I could always use more Sean. But yeah, I didn't feel any problems or anything. I worry a bit that we haven't done anything with the Wheatley camera, as Sally noticed. Like, there's this constant plate spinning of like.
Yep.
But it feels very natural that we would go straight for this now that we've had some good scores. Oh, that one. That one.
And in the shape of this episode, it makes sense that Simpson comes to us and then we're like, okay, we're focusing exclusively on this. And then there are consequences to focusing exclusively on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it. I hope I can get a chance to use the wingman ability at some point.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, coming up with that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
I don't know if custom moves are the best min-max, but they're just delightful for like. This will be
narratively. That's a great move.
Yeah. And
that is cool. Nicole.
Yeah, I think mine also is. I mean, the Polly was born out of me being like, well, Paloma can't be fucking everybody. And I was like, I've already had like the librarian, and like, I was like, the natural one was having an affair with this woman, but I was like, she's a washerwoman. So what would she be washing of Paloma's that Paloma might be trying to keep a secret that makes Paloma like try to get into more trouble? And then I was like, and I've been thinking about dandies today. So that's what we got. And I didn't even mean to like make it a whole thing, but it ended up being kind of naturally this like really fun thing to play with this time. I was like, oh, this doesn't feel like one of those improv shows where you're like, we actually don't want to see that character anymore. That was like a one-time funny joke, and like, please let Booger Man is done and we can just retire him. And I was like,
you're off the Far Patrol.
Yeah, you're off the Far Patrol. But it was like, I kind of was struggling beforehand to be like, what's Paloma going to get up to this time? Paloma's kind of having a sad time. And I agree with Peter, this was really nice after such a like dark one to be like, let's be sweet and vulnerable, still like dark, but kind of regroup. And we got to see Paul, and Polly was fun and kind of like let Paloma be a little more confident. It's like this part of Paloma that we don't get to see.
The mustache was my favorite.
Mustache was great. I mean,
the actual one when it popped on screen and caught me. I was in the middle of my scene, not even noticing, and I'm just like, oh my god, there's a mustache.
I know. I should set up. If I set up snap camera, I could get like probably mutton chops and all. Yeah. No. Yeah, I'm just glad that everything narratively worked out pretty well. I think is for that. I don't really have any wishes.
On a non-game note, a moment ago, you leaned back and you crossed your leg, and your background blinked out in such a way that looked like you were carrying a severed foot because you couldn't see your leg. Because you had your hand on your leg when you were crossing it, and then I just saw your hand and your foot, and your leg disappeared. It was awesome.
Next time
there you go. Yeah, perfect. Just like that. She's got a severed foot.
Cool.
Now I
Yeah, I
know.
like everyone's stuff. All the characters are really good. I really like the vulnerable scenes. Those are really sweet. I just wanted to like space them out a little bit, but they're really good. I love Polly coming in. So looking forward. Like my wish is to see more Polly. I think coming
Really?
in.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, gosh.
Oh,
Paloma's
Polly's
not
definitely
good.
like here to stay. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
Like I love Paloma, but like having Polly being a recurring character is essential to my enjoyment. So
Okay.
There's now 4 hunters at Hargrave
Yeah.
House.
Yeah.
Paloma,
yeah.
Polly.
I was like, now I got to
Gareth.
make up backstories for each of them.
and I was not expecting a ritual at the sanitarium. I was like, oh, you're gonna go talk to the kid. You're gonna like draw, like use your, whatever to like draw him out. It'll be nice. Like, oh no, you're just gonna smear blood on his face and talk to his ghost. Okay,
That's what I do.
yeah, let's do that.
Gareth has a brand. He didn't. At least he didn't try to fuck a dark
Yeah.
entity. So we really got off easy there.
Yeah, and I had a lot of fun bringing Pettigrew in. He's a side character in the thing, and I was like, it's kind of lame. But then like after like 2 big failures, I was like, oh, I was having trouble. Like, why is everyone acting all weird? Like, why did she run away? Why did he start like, oh, because like people are talking shit about Hargrave House. I got it. Okay, good.
Like the Hargrave House is making
ghost
his job
hunters.
hard.
Yeah, he's like
Yeah.
he's the dick in Ghostbusters.
Oh yeah.
Now, so
Atherton.
yeah.
Can you give me
Shut
more
down the
context?
grid.
It's been a
Oh,
while
so-
since I've seen it.
Ghostbusters, they bust ghosts in New York
I
City.
know what a Ghostbuster
And it does make them feel good.
It does make them feel good,
Mhm.
and you should call them. But there's a guy working for this, like the city health inspector or something like that. who
Yeah.
EPA or something, I
EPA.
think maybe.
EPA
Official.
and he accuses them of putting on these ghost shows so people will pay them to be Ghostbusters.
Oh, so people think we're like spiritualists.
Yeah. So he's like, okay,
Yeah.
cool. I'm gonna come in and shut this whole thing down. Like, shut down all your ghost containment units, and then all the ghosts escape, and bad things happen. So yeah.
Oh,
but
good.
he's that
Predator
guy
will be
now.
fun.
Yeah. Just got to keep him out of Hargrave House where all the ghosts are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And other wishes. For me, I've like since we started, I've been having a hard time sort of getting a real good handle on Cremorne Gardens. I feel like I'm doing that more, so I think I just need to like dig into the characters more and worry less about the actual stuff and just like fucking play more instead of like trying to make it good.
Looked fine from the outside.
Yeah, that's my trick. Yeah, I think all that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I'm enjoying Pettigrew. Like I
Yeah.
honestly was fighting the urge to thrall Pettigrew because I feel like it's just going to be so much more fun to.
I know.
have
I'm glad you didn't. It was like, oh yeah, we do need an enemy.
Getting
Yeah,
in the way.
in the background, I was like, how can I hard pivot after this if he thralls him?
Yeah.
I think
Just
it's
all
like,
the enemies
literally
are
just like
fans of Francis.
this does like a Tyler Durden kind of like, this was all a show for Mr. Simpson, sir. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Or they could
I'm
be
glad I
like
didn't have to do that.
Gareth and my enemies and love Francis.
Yeah. How dare you
Just
sully his reputation with
Still
your
make Francis
shenanigans.
still make Francis have a lot of trouble.
Yeah. But yeah, he's gonna be fun. I think he is also in other threats, so we may be seeing more of him down the road.
Ooh.
I didn't even turn mine on.
Oh, I have some fun homework. Okay, good. Also,
Oh, no.
I wish for y'all to see what happens next. That's all I got. So next time we'll jump into Theorize and then Night. I guess
Yeah. Sounds good.
on Friday. For everyone watching.
Yeah, that should work.
Cool.
Sorry, what was the question?
No question.
Oh, okay. I
Just
also like
excitement.
Mondays, but I saw that Peter prefers Saturday is greater than Friday is greater than Monday.
I think
know
just
why.
like
I mean,
for
when-
scheduling, especially with Heath, like Friday is probably the best day to sort of like default to, and then I don't know. I feel like we do a good job of figuring stuff out as we go.
I mean, as a freelancer, honestly, it's like all the same to me. It's really
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just didn't know.
I
if
just
it
felt
was,
like
more
everybody
likely
else-
You would get a Friday gig.
I thought Fridays were generally better for like y'all normies because you don't have to work the next day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I don't
good.
really care. But
I don't know. I
I
kind of
think
like it on a
that's
weekday I guess for me, now that theater shows are back in, Friday is a big day to go see stuff.
Oh yeah. And Mondays are good for, well, basically Sundays are things where I'm just, generally weekends for me have, the way my weird schedule is, I end up shoving lots of stuff into the weekends, lots of stuff to do, lots of meetings and stuff. So yeah, Monday works really well for me, as it turns
Yeah,
out.
I kind of like having something to look forward to Monday night.
That's true as well.
Yeah, I would just have to miss the last one of every month.
Or we
Which might-
reschedule around
Might
it.
be good to have like a week
Oh,
off every now and then.
That's true as well.
I was realizing that I was like, we've gone for like years and we hardly
Yeah.
we sometimes have weeks off, but only because
I'm always bummed when we have a week off because like,
I know,
oh,
it's pretty
I was looking
cool.
forward to it. What am I gonna do now?
Like this is like literally the longest gaming group I've ever had together.
yeah, I just
I am-
So it's been
Trying hard not to take it for granted. Like,
I know.
yeah, same. It's really like I like trying to do improv again. I've been like, y'all are doing it right.
this
Don't
is
you
not
know?
fun
It's
anymore. I
just-
want to go back to
this
my
isn't
good
fun.
people.
Yeah. Oh, hi, we're streaming.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
not
know,
like-
just
if you've
telling-
done it for me lately, I didn't like it.
Nobody's
Just
watching.
stating facts. Just stating facts.
It's fine. I would tell you to your face.
oh, no.
Yeah. I kind of like, yeah, I would like to try Mondays if that's okay with people.
That's
Okay.
good.
Do you want to skip this Friday and just do Monday then?
No,
Or
I
do
can
you
still
wanna
do.
do-
I mean,
Okay, let's do this Friday and then
let's do this Friday and then switch.
Okay,
'Cause
cool.
I already had this Friday planned, so.
Yeah. Cool. Let's do that.
I'm baffled because my Google Calendar says, it has holidays on. It has next Monday's Easter Monday, and I'm like, that's not a thing.
not a thing.
Why is that on my?
Slash
Why is it
tax
on my?
day.
Yeah, that too.
The kids here do not have school that day because they
Oh.
observe all Christian holidays in Canada,
Oh.
while
Interesting.
simultaneously not being weirdly Christian about their government. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna step away. Feel free to hang out. I'll be back if you're still here. Bye.
What?
I'm gonna step away if you
It's
guys
weird.
don't want to leave. You don't have to.
Okay, now we can say everything with
All right. And we're still streaming.
I know.
All
I'm like,
right. It's time
well, this
for
is
our show.
this is strange.
Welcome to
So
Mark's channel.
It's just gonna keep streaming until Mark comes back to shut it down.
I don't know. He just walked down the hallway.
So now it'd be extra dumb if we all left because then we'd just be streaming literally nothing till he came back and shut it down.
There,
Maybe we
there,
could
there,
just-
there.
Yeah.
Now she's gone too. What keeps happening, everybody?
We'll just have a squid instead.
Oh.
Oh, the squid.
Nice.
Only an eyeball.
You could
has a beak.
do some home crafts and make it a vampire squid.
Mhm.
No. I guess it needs a little adjustment.
There's Sepia. Okay.
Yes. It was just so delightful how disturbed you were.
Choose
I didn't realize
video
that Mark
filters.
was. Yeah, I guess I took off Snap Camera, or I could have had fun
Whoa,
mutton chops.
We're all old timey now.
Oh, we're like one of those things at Six Flags.
That's
Get a little fan prop.
get ye old West
Oh,
photos.
Wild West.
Yeah.
I went to Six Flags by myself recently, and I really wanted that to open. It wasn't open. I was going to
Mm-mm.
get a silly
There's a
photo.
little photo booth set up for it.
Never gotten one.
Mhm.
Is this where's your mustache in? Is mustaches in here? Is that where you got it?
Yeah, there's not a. I was looking for like a little top hat, but it's just a mustache. And you can't have sepia and mustache. You gotta.
No, can't.
choose.
That's too much.
There's two types of face masks.
I can't even find the mustache. Do I not have a mustache? Maybe I don't have one.
It's near the bandit.
Whoa, what is it? Oh, this is a whole different. Oh, there's a whole different. If you click
Oh, there's studio effects.
Yeah.
Oh.
Look at that mustache. That looks like real.
Oh, that's what I needed.
How about this? It's hard to tell since I have so much real scruff on my face.
Yeah, I was about to say,
What is
Oh,
happening?
guys, he's back. Stop
Oh
the
no,
thing that you're
scram! Oh, now I can't.
Where's
get
the
my lips.
squid?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
the
I need to
studio
turn
effects
up
have
the
much more
opacity.
realistic mustaches.
There we go. Yeah, you
Yeah.
need to turn up the opacity on mustache.
Oh yeah, I got like a
Oh,
little.
opacity. There's opacity on them.
There's an opacity
I
slider.
see that now. So I
Oh
turn that
yeah,
on,
that's kind of gross.
and
when
I
it's,
crank
like,
that up.
really,
Yeah.
really light.
I'm Tony
That's
Looks
Stark.
like my regular mustache. That's why I don't have a mustache.
There we go.
Yes. Mm.
Ooh. Why are these the only
Champion.
options? Oh my god,
Nice.
Mark!
Only gross mustaches.
Only gross.
Only gross mustaches.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, Paloma's. I guess
Give myself some. Give
blonde.
myself some. I like them eyebrows, huh? Hey, buddy.
I don't think I can give myself more eyebrow. Oh, yeah.
Those are just my eyebrows.
I'm already at Peter Gallagher level. There's a checkbox for apply to all
I know.
future meetings.
All
that I have
future
not
meetings.
checked.
Yeah. But you can make your eyebrows red.
Oh yeah. Cool.
Oh no.
Let's get crazy with our eyebrows. Let's go. I'm gonna. Hey, what the hell? Give me purple eyebrows. There we go. I'm gonna have purple everything.
Purple.
Much more noticeable now.
There we go. Yeah, dark blue.
Mm,
This is
yeah.
unsettling.
It's not okay. This is not
Oh.
okay.
Hold on. Let's just go full on. Give me some of that lip color too.
Yeah, and you can set opacity
Yeah.
on that too.
Mm.
There we
Oh.
go.
Oh, I
Can't
don't
give myself
like it.
eyeshadow, I guess though. Just
Yeah, you gotta
eyebrows.
come to that. Come with
Yeah.
that.
Gotta do that for real.
I'm ready.
Why is this shit so fun?
So
Oh,
funny.
God.
Oh, Mark, that's great. Oh, look at Peter. Peter's is great.
I drank too many shamrock shakes.
I'm get them right on my glasses. Yeah.
Ugh.
So this is the show.
This is it.
We're still streaming. What's wrong with us? Everything.
Oh, there we go.
That hat's not nearly big enough.
I know these hats are
I need
tiny.
to turn sepia on. There we go. Oh, there we go. I still had sepia on.
Oh God. Yeah. That's...
Oh, it looked really good with sepia, actually. 'cause
I
it was just
know.
a little green.
That's just like
Now you
love that
look-
Joker.
I still
so
don't see the
much.
mustache that
Let's
Pauly
put a
is wearing
smile
now.
on that face.
I don't have
Oh,
the
that
Paul-
style.
I don't think I have the Pauly stash.
Oh, it's only. It's yeah.
Look, Is
This
that a primo?
You can have it.
subscription
You can
only?
have it and another stash.
Double stash.
Double stash
stash.
action. Yeah.
I would like to get rid of the other ones. Reset. That'd be nice. Yeah, there we go.
All right.
Just a
We're going to
bird.
end the stream.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
All right.
I am
Bye.
Paul. Oh gosh, Mark.